It's only
I feel like
game. Why you have to be mad?
Sorry, what was that?
Is he in Nashville? Am I close geographically?
They've
The
been cooking it
contracts.
up.
The contracts are coming in.
No one knows what he is. He's a big orange monster
Let's
with
see.
googly eyes.
He's
and
a gritty.
Okay.
Little.
The Florida League.
What do you think of Owen's bracket? Do you remember it?
It's hopeful.
Pop quiz. Welcome back. No, speaking of, welcome back to episode 36 of the Brand Loves Hockey podcast. We're brought to you by, or bringing you the episode today is myself. We've got Dean, and Sandroni makes his triumphant return after missing out on episode 30 last time. We've got him here now, so it's all good. No fret. Don't fret.
And you come here with a surprise that you didn't tell us about.
Yeah, so this is just because this just broke today. This is not hockey related, but since Sandroni's on and also a Bills fan, I wanted to talk briefly about the Stefan Diggs trade that broke earlier today and your initial thoughts.
I don't have much of an initial thought. Maybe you just didn't like it there. It has been overcast all year, so it could be that.
Well, I mean, after 4 years, I think you kind of have to know that's what the weather in Buffalo is going to be like.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm just excited for the 1:00 games again. What do they trade him for? I think they trade him for a second round pick that's like not even this year.
I think it's 2025, yeah.
Yeah,
And then
and
they
they
gave a
also
couple
lost
picks.
some other picks. Yeah. I don't know. He must have not liked it, and he
Yeah.
must have requested that. That's the only way.
And they didn't take on the contract either, so we have all that dead cap for his contract
Yeah.
still on our books, which is like, oh man, that's tough to swallow with a team that's already shed so many players due to the cap this off season. But Bean's reassuring Bills fans that it's only April 3rd and season doesn't start till September, so they're still trying to win, and we still haven't even had the draft yet. So it sounds like, obviously he's not done, and the end goal by the time we get to training camp is to still be a competitive team. So I don't know. I feel like the value was okay. I mean, he's 30, but also like he's had so many monster seasons. He did kind of drop off towards the latter half of last season when Joe Brady took over as offensive coordinator. So he took some of the target share away. He was playing like 90% of snaps versus like 60 or 70 when Brady took over. So maybe part of the reason why he was a little upset with his usage last year.
There's going to be a big hole. It's
Yeah,
hard
well,
to fill that. Yeah.
So yeah, the thought is probably picking up a first round wide receiver this year, in the draft, and then I don't know, maybe picking up some leftover veterans on the free agent market, or maybe trade. I don't know, but yeah, definitely as it stands right now, I would not be confident in this wide receiver group going into September. But we're not in September yet.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
First I'm hearing of this trade because I don't really follow football, but as a Giants fan, I can feel your pain of losing a superstar during this off season.
Rest in peace, Saquon Barkley.
Yeah, and going to
Going to
a
Philly
rival
too.
Yeah, it's tough. Like at least you went across to east to west kind of deal.
Different division.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Still in the AFC, but yeah. And I'm happy for like the Texans fans and everything because they've had miserable seasons and teams for a lot of their time. I mean, it finally seems like they're starting to build something that's real with Stroud, and Dell and Nico Collins and stuff, and now Diggs added to that group. So
They were good
surprising.
last year, and it seemed like it kind of came out of nowhere too. So
Oh yeah, I don't think a lot of people expected them to make that big of a jump. Like Stroud had just like a monster season for them as a rookie. So yeah, it seemed like that was a great pick at second overall. So we'll see how they do, but yeah, plenty of time left, and we'll jump back into the hockey talk now. But I figured to just throw that out there, see if you had anything spicy for us. But pretty tempered as I am, I guess.
gonna be a lot of noon beers next season when we're playing at 1:00.
Yeah. Especially as the season goes on and it gets colder and colder out there.
Yeah.
I was lucky that the New Year's Eve game that I went to was not cold really. Brie was still cold, but I was pretty well prepared with my snow pants, and I was like taking off my gloves and stuff because I didn't need them. So for getting the value there, I was pretty happy with it, and getting to see a win late in the season was nice. Beating the Patriots, always fun to do that.
Yeah. I got to see the Cowboys last year.
That was a
Cowboys.
great game. That was the game that they obliterated them.
They clobbered them.
James cooked.
Yeah.
He went up. He had what, like 200 or 300 plus yards in that game. It was crazy.
Nuts.
But
yeah, when I go, the tickets that I was in were in the. If you look at the stadium, there's like a stripe across the second balcony that's got red, and those are the heat lamps.
The red ring.
It was like freezing rain out, and I was in my short sleeve T-shirt. If I had a long pole, I could have probably cooked a hot dog or something. It was blazing.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
And it wasn't guaranteed that you were going to have those seats either, right? Because it
was
like you had two different sections.
My brother was up in the 300s where there was a guy in his row that every stop went and bought a full beer, like, what are they, like $12 or something, $20,
15 or whatever.
Dumped it on himself.
Oh my god!
There's no cameras in the third section, so he was just doing that. I don't know. He was sick of the rain, must be.
Yeah, you're definitely not gonna get on like the jumbotron or anything in those nosebleed sections. There's no way they capture anything up there. Probably don't want to either. Those are the most rowdy fans are up there.
No, the most rowdy fans stay in the parking lot.
Yeah. Okay, you got me
The
there.
ones having bonfires, and we walked by a guy who had blood coming down his face on the way out. That wasn't. No, he went through a table.
Yeah. Those tailgaters, and especially in Bill's Mafia, it's something else for sure. We'll see if the Sabres get to that sort of level. Not this season.
I don't think so. I went to a Sabres game a bit ago. They weren't in contention, but I don't think they ever were in contention this year. But and I looked into their eyes as they were leaving, and no, it's not happening.
There was nothing
year.
in there.
It was a loss, and it was like they were pissed off, but not like championship level pissed off. Yeah. I saw the Kraken.
Not to be confused with the Seattle Kraken, of course.
Yes, I saw the Seattle Kraken.
Oh, I thought you were saying you saw like the Kraken in their eyes or something, and that made you think that they weren't. Yeah. Oh no, there's the Kraken. Never mind. Yeah, this team's no good. Oh well, yeah, it's tough. It feels like they really expected more of themselves this year too. And like we said, technically they haven't been eliminated yet. I think they're giving them like a 0.2% chance at qualifying for playoffs. So that's a no. But Yeah,
They
I don't.
traded their captain away. They're
They
done.
did. They at
You
least
can't do. Yeah.
like they at least sent him to a place that he wanted to go in Florida. And they got basically nothing for him, so they're kind of, I guess, trying to do right by him and maybe get him a
Yeah.
cup. We'll see how Florida does, but yeah, that was like, okay, yep, they're done. So we'll see how if they make it excruciatingly close down the stretch here, or if they just pitter out.
Yeah. I bet they make it excruciatingly close. Just
That's
like
on
last
brand.
year.
That's on brand for Buffalo, yeah. I think they got eliminated with like 2 games left in their schedule or something last year. It was pretty tight.
Let's get the worst odds at a draft pick.
Yeah. They're not shooting for like a top 5 pick this year, unfortunately. Unlikely that they would win the lottery. But yeah, the playoff picture is still uncertain. I believe only the Columbus Blue Jackets in the East have technically been eliminated. Obviously, teams like Montreal, Ottawa, New Jersey are pretty unlikely to be able to make the push at this point, but they're technically still alive. Let me see. How many spots are even up for grabs left? We've got the 3rd in the Atlantic, which in all likelihood, Toronto locks up tonight with, I think they just need a point against Tampa to clinch playoffs. I don't know what they'll need to clinch 3rd, but that's going to happen. We got the 3rd spot in the Metro. Philly sitting there now.
That's very much up for grabs, right?
Definitely. The Caps are still fighting.
Yeah.
Islanders, technically the Penguins too. It's gonna be tight. And then so both of the wild card spots, obviously in both conferences, are up for grabs still. And then 3rd in the Central, and 2nd and 3rd in the Pacific still. Well, I mean, things can shift around. Like, technically, Vancouver, I think, could still drop to a wild card spot. But, yeah, it would be pretty unlikely. Because I don't think anyone has clinched... Nah, nobody's clinched a division title yet. So... But one team that has officially clinched is the Boston Bruins. Dean, congratulations. Welcome to the playoffs.
We sure did.
You did
this
great.
is somewhat related. Did you hear that the Vancouver Canucks put a shirt on their website that said, like, clinched or whatever? And then I think they took it down because everyone was like, come on.
Yeah, it's like,
Like,
I know it's...
that's loser energy right there.
I know, it's like, oh, we made,
We
like,
made
our
the
second...
playoffs, like, half the league makes the
Successful
playoffs.
season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
So,
like,
I mean,
don't give up yet. This is half
Making
the battle.
playoffs is like, I mean, it's great. Don't get me wrong, but like again, half the league makes the playoffs. But again, I mean, if you asked me at the start of the year, I'm like, make the playoffs is our goal. Like we're like a bubble team because no Bergeron, no Krejci. So happy to make the playoffs. I think first round will be tough. I'd be happy to make it to the second round, and I'd hate to lose to Toronto in the first round.
Definitely, yeah.
But I don't have like Stanley Cup hopes like I did last year.
Right, yeah, that's
Different deal this
I
year.
was
Less
gonna ask you,
expectation.
like, do you legitimately think the Boston Bruins will win the cup this year?
No, but again, you never know. We talked about it last week. Like, you get in and you never know. The 8th seed can win. I mean, Bruins are presumably 2nd seed going in.
Yeah, Florida's been dipping a little bit, so we could see.
That's true.
We could see first in the Atlantic for Boston. Probably not gonna surpass the Rangers for first in the East, but which I'm sure Sandroni is now jumping on. Sabres weren't my team. Rangers all the way, of course.
Well, actually, so the Bruins and Panthers have both played 76 games. We're up 4 points. I didn't realize we took because we were like neck and neck. They caught up. They passed us, and yeah, so we're actually ahead by 4. So I mean, maybe
That's big this late.
Yeah, so if that's the case, we'd play Tampa, which isn't that much better.
I know. It's like, what a reward.
Like again, well, So the Rangers have one more point than us and a game in hand. So that's kind of tough.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I'd love to play Washington instead of Tampa, but I think I would rather play Tampa than Toronto.
Yeah, I think so too.
But Tampa just kind of like every year I feel like they like are slow in the regular season, turn it on at the end, and then like playoff Tampa. Like I don't know, they know how to like coast into the playoffs and then just like ramp up.
Yeah. No, you certainly can't underestimate them. You really shouldn't underestimate anybody after some of the crazy upsets like Columbus against Tampa in
Yeah.
18-19. Like,
I mean, and Vasilevsky's not been playing well, so if he like goes back to being Vasilevsky, that's not good
no,
for the
definitely
Bruins.
not.
Good for Tampa.
Yeah, so we'll see what the matchups end up looking like. I'm gonna be very excited to see who Vegas plays. Of course, we're not in at this point yet, but we're sitting relatively comfortably in third in the Pacific. We've got 5 points on Los Angeles, who has one game in hand, but they've been struggling a little bit. Nashville's dropped a couple. They just got shut out by Boston uh, on Dean's birthday as well.
Oh yeah,
Big birthday
big
win.
win.
Pretty nice.
It was 0-0 like going into the third.
Yeah, it was a weird game.
I mean, it was like even though the first two periods, like it was entertaining for a 0-0 game. It was
Yeah,
good hockey.
I think so too. Especially in Nashville, like that place is always like going crazy, especially on those low scoring games when there's like really good chances for the home team. It's like they go nuts. Speaking of the Preds, we've got their point streak did officially end, which it happened like
Told
right
you this
after
would
we
happen.
recorded. Yeah. So we said last week that they were on their 18 game point streak, which has now ended. And we also mentioned that the
Darn
McKinnon.
Coyotes.
Oh yeah, the Coyotes, of course, beat them. Everybody was like, "Yeah, that makes sense." It wasn't Vegas. No, it couldn't be Vegas. It has to be the Coyotes. They're so freaking weird. And McKinnon, his home point streak, which he was chasing Gretzky for the league record, also was broken. It was kind of like controversial. Some of the Avalanche fans thought that he should have gotten credit on the one goal that they had, the Devon Taves goal. They thought that he was supposed to have gotten credit for it, but it was unassisted officially. When I think there was like some comparisons to a similar goal that was scored by another team where the passing player got the assist. I don't remember the specifics of it, but either way, that's how it was called. So he doesn't break Gretzky's record of 40. I think he was at 36 before it ended. So we're sorry that we cursed the Predators and Nathan McKinnon, but we kind of knew it was going to happen as soon as we brought it up.
Mm-hmm. And while we're talking about people chasing Gretzky's record, I heard this discussion the other day about, obviously it seems like I think we're on the same page that like Ovechkin will catch Gretzky at some point for the goals record. And then the debate was how long does that last until like Matthews gets the record, because he's got 62, 61, whatever he's at this year already.
Yeah, 62.
Like, and I think
Might get
64 is the record in the Cap era. So like, yeah, I mean, crazy numbers, but I feel like if he stays healthy, he probably will pass the goal record too.
It wouldn't be crazy, really.
The other crazy thing is McDavid at 100 assists, which there's only 3 other players to ever do that.
Yeah.
Bobby Orr, Gretzky, and what was it?
Was it Lemieux?
Probably Lemieux.
I don't know.
Or was it Messier? Messier or Lemieux? I want to say Messier. I don't know. But anyway, like in good company for sure.
Oh, definitely, yeah. Mount Rushmore, it was described as.
Lemieux, Gretzky or Lemieux.
Yeah. So that's nuts. Been crazy. We'll see if Matthews gets to 70 by the end of the season. It's gonna be a little tight, but he could certainly do it. And
I mean, a goal per game for the rest of the season. It's like I could see him doing that.
yeah, especially if he gets like a hat trick in one of these games, like they start feeding him empty netters or something. They're gonna be. I think they're playing right now, actually. And then I don't know, like on this, if you guys saw, Matthews now has the most goals scored out of anyone drafted from the 2010 draft and beyond. And he was drafted in 2016. So
Yeah.
that's like
Also, he already scored tonight.
just crazy.
So
Oh my gosh! So what? That's what 63.
63
Correction.
in the first
Yeah,
period.
and then we're gonna check in a couple minutes later and be like, "Oh, sorry, one more." Yeah, so he probably won't do it tonight, but he could certainly make it close. But yeah, like having 6 less years than some of those guys on that list, and having the most goals scored out of anyone drafted from that far is just insane. He's like so talented, and that's why people were like a little underwhelmed, I guess, last year when he only scored 40, I think it was.
Only.
Yeah, and it was like you have no idea what you're talking about. Like you don't know how high of a standard he's set for himself. Like that 40 is seen as like a failure, which it certainly wasn't and never will be. Marchessault hit 40 this year. He's got 41. So we'll see if he can break Carlson's record from the first year. But yeah, I'm always happy to have a 40 goal scorer on my team. I'll say that.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what it is about this year. It seems like a lot of people are just like having high scoring seasons. Like Hyman and Reinhardt both hit 50 goals on the same night.
Yeah.
I think we've had a lot of 50 goal scorers, and like, I mean, I don't know how many people expected Hyman or Reinhardt to hit 50.
Probably neither of them to hit
Not a lot
50.
of people. That's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, Hyman, you could be like, well,
40?
he's playing with, like, look who he's playing with, kind of thing, right?
You
Like, you can make that argument.
yeah.
Like, well, he only scores just tapping it in from the front of the net, but like that's what Phil Esposito did, and like,
It's like yeah,
it was
and also
easy to
he's
score
one of the
50
only people
goals
doing
in the
that.
NHL. Everyone would do it. Like,
Yeah, exactly. Like,
way
did
he's
you
doing it
notice that
isn't-
like he's one of the only people that is scoring that many goals? Like
yeah,
it's not like 50 guys in the league are scoring 50 goals from that spot, or even 50
Yeah.
goals at all. Like, yeah, it's really
Mhm.
it's really difficult. So yeah, pretty crazy seasons for them. Reinhardt is pending UFA this summer too, so
Get a nice paycheck.
he's gonna get a good chunk of change. We'll see who pays him. I don't know if it'll be Florida. It'll depend on what happens with this season wrapping up. But yeah, he's not. There's no extension talks at this point. Rightfully so. I mean, you certainly wouldn't want to do that after, well, first not even seeing the playoffs, but
Yeah.
you're certainly going to get undervalued if you sign one now. So yeah, it's been crazy. There's been some NCAA free agents who are signing with some teams. I don't know if any of them have gotten into any games yet, but this usually happens once teams start getting eliminated. We're down to the Frozen Four now, which we'll cover in a sec here. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how many games some of these college players get. I know when we were at school, Nico Sturm did that where he played some games for the Wild after they were already out of playoff contention that season. This was, I think, our senior year, so I want to say 18-19. Yeah. So he like went over there, played a couple of games, and then like came back to school after like a week, and it was like me and Justin like saw him just walking down from like the campus or whatever. We're like, holy crap! Like that guy just played in the NHL. Very surreal.
I think it was probably would have been like they would have had like a month left in the season or something, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they lost in the first round, the tournament. So
yeah, that was the game that he got ejected, like which was like
5-minute major. It
controversial.
wasn't an ejection. It was
at
a
that
5-minute
game.
major.
Yeah. You were
At
you
the
were
end of
actually
the
at that
game.
game, Dean.
Yeah, it was in New Hampshire.
Yeah, that was a tough one. That he wasn't
Like
able
a
to.
tic-tac call.
Yeah, a lot of Clarkson fans were upset by that one, and that's the furthest that the men's team has been. I don't think they've even made the final bracket since then.
The women were in the Frozen Four. Did you talk about that?
Yeah, because
That
actually
topic.
by the recording last week, I think it was already decided, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the Ohio State one, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, because again, we lost to the first, like we were fourth seed and lost to the first seed. So it's like, what are you gonna do?
Yeah, that's. But yeah, now we're down to the Frozen Four for the men's tournament. We were just recapping our picks from last week. Dean went 3 for 4, only getting North Dakota wrong instead of Michigan.
Yeah, so the Frozen Four is Denver, BU, BC, and Michigan. I mean, picking BU and BC was pretty low-hanging fruit because they were both incredible teams this year. And I just picked Denver as a homer pick more than a intellectual pick. But it worked out.
That Boston College Quinnipiac game did go into overtime. Boston College did come back late. I was watching that one on Easter Sunday there, and it was pretty crazy. So Boston College could have been upset pretty early, and not even made it to the Frozen Four. So we'll see how the tournament wraps up. Like I said, I guess I had Wisconsin, Michigan State, BU, and Denver. So I was predicting the Boston College upset. So I was like, damn. But I also didn't have Quinnipiac making it after that, so I guess it wouldn't have made a huge difference. But we'll see how the tournament wraps up. I wouldn't be surprised if it was the two Boston universities going at it in the finals.
Here's a stat to note for that. Denver has only given up 2 goals in the playoffs.
Wow.
The defense wins championships, so I'm told.
That is true.
That's certainly impressive, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there have been some high-scoring games. I think one game was like 6-4. There was another like 5-4 game. I think the Boston College game went 5-4 or 6-5 or something like that. So, yeah, definitely keeping the puck out of your net is always going to be valuable, especially when teams are really fighting for every battle. It'll be good. That's how we talk about Stanley Cup playoffs too. So should be a good one. But I don't know. Do you want to do an official prediction for the champion?
Sure, why not? Do you know who's playing who? I don't.
Michigan and Boston College are playing.
Yeah.
Boston College is the 1 seed.
Okay, well then I'm gonna say BC BU in the final. Hot take. I'll put BU winning it.
BU over BC. Okay.
Yeah.
Sandroni.
I like an underdog. Go Wolverines.
Oh, Michigan. Okay. Who are you taking them over in the finals?
Denver.
Yeah. All right. Well, Sandroni's convinced me. I'll take Denver over Boston College in the finals.
Boston U. Oh, in the finals.
In the finals,
okay.
yeah. So yeah, we'll see. We've got 3 different ones chosen. So if BU wins, nobody is happy, except for
Well, we
BU
won't even
fans.
know next week because the games are the 11th and the 13th. So it's like not this weekend, but the next weekend.
Oh yeah, so we'll probably know
Yeah,
the
but when
championship matchup.
the podcast gets released.
Sure, that's true.
I don't know. It's how timing works.
Nah, it'll be in 2 episodes
Mm-hmm.
that we'll know who wins, but we'll know the matchup for the championship game by then.
Well, the
But
11th
we
is
got our
Thursday.
predictions out for our viewers before the game. If anyone wants to bet.
Yeah.
Yeah, go with the experts like Sandroni did with
Yeah.
his March Madness bracket.
Yeah.
Mm.
Go Wolverines.
We're definitely the experts. After not even knowing off the top of our heads who was
Hey,
in
I
the
went
Frozen
3 for 4. That's pretty good.
Yeah, hey, yeah. If you just go with all the projected favorites, you probably do okay.
I mean, Denver's a 3 seed. That's not a favorite.
True.
You know what I learned recently? That there are tiebreakers for the Art Ross Trophy.
Oh,
And the first tiebreaker is the player with the most goals.
Okay.
So Art Ross is the leading point getter in the league, for those who don't know. The second one, which some have argued should be the first, is player with fewer games played.
So points
then-
percentage.
Yeah, so like I guess it would make sense to have that as the first one. And then the last one is the player scoring the first goal of the season. So whoever scores the goal sooner is the third tiebreaker.
That would be very funny
And
if
they don't
if it worked out.
specify if it's like how far into the game it is. Like if you score 7 minutes, like because I think
That's what I was
Kucherov
wondering,
scored
too.
like 9 minutes in, and Matthews scored 7 minutes in. But Tampa played the day before, so is it like earlier timing or earlier like
Just like
game time?
schedule was better. Yeah.
Like,
Well, if
Harvey
they're
wants it
doing
to be, like-
games played, it's probably game time, right?
Probably, but I wanted to get
Yeah.
to like the
Probably.
third
That would
tiebreaker
make
just so we can
sense.
have this dumb argument.
Yeah, that would be very. I would love to see the discourse on Reddit if it
Yeah.
ever came down to that final tiebreaker. I would love to see people arguing over who rightfully deserves it and where the tiebreakers should go. I would probably
was-
say points percentage should be
There was
before
a whole
goals
thing that
too.
like people still argue Gretzky's rookie season, he tied the leading points in the league, but whoever else had more goals, so Gretzky didn't get the Art Ross trophy.
Mm.
Like
Yeah,
when
I
talking
mean-
about Gretzky's awards, like, well, I should have another Art Ross
Yeah,
trophy.
his he could have been a legend, you know. if-
Yeah, it could have been even. Yeah. He could have been elite if he just had that one extra trophy.
People would have known his name.
Yeah.
That nobody Wayne Gretzky. No. Can't do that to Wayne. Everybody knows who the rightful winner of that rookie season Art Ross was. The other guy. I don't even know who it was. One story here, the Russian goaltender at 6'7", Ivan Fedotov, after planning to have been coming over a couple of years ago, and then with some of the recent political discourse, international discourse with Russian players coming over, that wasn't able to happen. But the Flyers were finally able to get him over, and he ended up coming in to play in relief for Ersson the other day in an eventual loss to the Islanders in overtime. But he looked pretty good. Obviously, he was towering over the net. You don't get too many goalies. I think he's the tallest goalie to ever play
I think
tall is he?
So he's
6'7"?
6'7". I think there was a 6'8". I don't know if Ben Bishop was 6'8".
I don't think he was that. I think he was 6'6".
Ben Bishop's also 6'7".
6'7", okay.
I think there was a goalie that was 6'8".
There was some conflicting stuff if Fedotov was 6'8" or 6'7", but
Ty's record. Oh, so he tied the record. That's what it is.
Tied
He could
it,
have broken
okay.
the record if he was 6'8". But there's also like apparently some prospects for different teams that are like 6'8" that could potentially be in the league in the next few years. But I also didn't realize until recently that like Fedotov is 27 years old. He was drafted in I think the McDavid draft 2015.
yeah,
And he was also drafted the same year as Joey Decord, who's making a name for himself this year.
Oh, really? Yeah, I think he's like a year younger than Sorokin.
Mm.
Oh,
And you know what other goalie was drafted the same year as Fedotov? Jake Kupski. Remember
Oh my
him?
God.
He was drafted.
Kupski was drafted.
He was a
5
backup.
picks after Ivan Fedotov. 5
Wow.
picks apart.
What could have
And then
been
Decord was 5 or 6 picks after that.
after?
Jake
Oh man,
Kupski.
Decord was
He was-
after Kupski.
He
that's
was the
crazy.
Union backup goaltender.
But
Union
Kupski
cow.
has not played in the NHL.
We want Kupski.
Yeah.
Didn't
I
we
mean,
say
that
he
one
was
year.
playing like overseas or something?
Yeah, so like the 17-18 season for Union, he played in 25 games, had a .917 save percentage.
That's nothing to scoff at.
In 22-23, he played for the Idaho Steelheads in the ECHL, played 7
ECHL.
games, had .955.
They went to the finals and lost in the Kelly Cup championship last year against
Well, now he's playing
Florida.
in Slovakia.
Oh, okay. Wow, I'm kind of surprised after that another ECHL team didn't keep him around.
Well, he did play in the AHL. He played 5 games for the Abbotsford Canucks.
Oh,
And had
okay.
.880.
Hmm.
And, yeah.
Maybe he couldn't go back down to the ECHL after that. Then.
Yeah, I know.
The Panthers did just sign one of the NCAA free agents, Cooper Black, who is a goaltender at 6'8".
That's what I was thinking of, yeah.
So he won't be. He won't play this year, I don't think. But you never know. So we'll see if maybe Cooper Black ties the record or breaks it.
That would break it.
Yeah. So
But it's like the scoring record. Whoever did it first has it.
yeah, right.
You don't win anything for tying it.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like 6'8" is the next one to beat. Because I think Fedotov and the other guy, would you say Bishop, was both 6'7"?
Yeah.
Just gotta grow taller goaltenders.
They'll always make them taller. It's like we just keep getting faster, stronger. Like humans just keep pushing the athletic boundaries. Pretty crazy stuff. But yeah, that's big. I mean, there's even some like provisions for players of a certain height. Like you can request to get longer sticks, and that includes goalies. Then like you're allowed to. There's like they'll only listen to requests if you're at a certain threshold, which I think is like 6'6". So and then there's even like a limit on how long the stick can go, even if you're at if you're above that threshold. So it's kind of interesting. I wonder if he has an exceptionally long stick than other goalies. I don't know if that's as important as like being like a 6'6" defender or something, because I feel like
Well, yeah.
the length
I mean,
is
we know
more
with
important.
Chara they made an exception.
Yeah,
6'9".
that is it's an absurd number.
Yeah.
6'9".
They should make the net taller if you request stick.
Yeah. Like, oh, we're gonna have to.
Oh no.
We're giving you equipment exceptions to make them larger, but we're gonna have to make your net larger too.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And the puck's gonna be smaller. No, I guess that would negatively impact the other players, so and players on your team. So I guess that would
Positively impact the players on the team because they're used to the smaller puck.
right, right. Yeah, that's true. Maybe not then. Um, in some other goalie news, so Jonathan Quick becomes the winningest U.S.-born goalie after his run with the Rangers. It was funny seeing the graphic of like his wins, and it was like L.A. like 100 and whatever, Vegas 6, and like the Rangers were like 13 or 17 or something like that. It's like, oh, we made it, like we're on there.
And I
But
have that on my
very impressive.
2024 bingo card.
Oh gosh,
Quick,
me either.
setting the record. Like, you just assume he's done. Like one of those goalies where it's like, oh, he's gonna like go retire on some random team, like as a backup or whatever. But like he's played great this year.
Especially because he wasn't a part of the cup run in the playoffs. Like he played in the regular season, but he didn't play any of the games in the playoffs. So it was kind of like, if he's Vegas's third option, like how many wins and how many games is he gonna get? Especially with Shesterkin like having such a good last couple of years. It's like how many games is he gonna get in? But Shesterkin had a rocky start, so Quick came in and he's like, don't worry. Might be 38 or whatever, but I still know how to play goalie. So he surpasses Ryan Miller, the former Buffalo Sabre, as the winningest goalie for US born player. So pretty cool.
Good for him.
You don't see that many like American players get broken. I mean, there's starting to be more American-born players now, with the way that the game has grown. Obviously, Matthews is gonna continue to do that here. So, yeah, pretty fun. Have you been like watching any of the Rangers games, Sandroni, or not really?
No. The only one I remember watching when the Sabres played them and the Sabres beat them, and Shesterkin got pretty mad. I remember him leaving the ice. He slams his stick on the door and breaks it.
I think I remember seeing that one.
Yeah, fireworks.
Yeah, you think you'll be tuning in for the playoffs?
I'll probably watch some games, depending on which games look like they're gonna be pretty good. Yeah, I'll pick and choose.
I feel like there's going to be a lot of tantalizing first round matchups this year.
Toronto.
Yeah, we'll see how things shake out, but yeah, I feel like any of the Eastern matchups are going to be really really interesting, especially with all the possibilities for Toronto, Boston, and Florida with like the recent playoff history between all those teams. So
I want to see Dallas, Nashville.
I could start picking teams to follow. I have a track record for picking teams and having them flop.
Who should you curse?
Yeah.
Who should I curse?
Vegas.
Hey, whoa,
Vegas.
whoa!
Oh,
You should root for Toronto.
maybe.
No one likes Toronto.
That would be quite the culture shock.
Yeah, but I gotta believe in them. I did pick Toronto to win, so they're probably gonna flop in my preseason.
Oh,
remember?
Great.
Yeah.
And you were the only one who picked Vancouver.
I did.
Wild card spot, but
wild card, not first.
No. I mean, technically, they could still probably be a wild card team. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah, they got 100 points.
Yeah,
they're not going to be a wild card team.
No. But yeah, that was good on you. We'll see how our percentage of teams successfully guessed will be after the playoffs begin. But I don't think I'm gonna do very well. I think I'm gonna beat Owen, but I'm not gonna do that much better.
Everyone's gonna beat Owen.
Yeah. I could see.
I
could see Sandroni or Dean pulling it out.
You can see me pulling it out.
Sure.
Sure.
You got a
Maybe
good chance.
Buffalo will make it.
Yeah, that one would help all of us. Oh, no, it's so disappointing
Those
every time.
Sabres. I'm done picking Buffalo sports.
All right, next year's their year
I'll
then.
watch them.
Yeah.
It probably will be. No,
Hey, I
it's
hope
never
so.
their year. I've learned my lesson.
Yeah. Bills have been playing
Mahomes
since
is
the
that
60s.
much faster.
1960
Yeah.
for the Bills and 1972 for Sabres. And here we are.
Both of
Not a
them
lot to
have
show
been
for
close.
No championships. What you say, Dean?
Yeah.
It's not a lot to show for it.
No. I mean,
Few close ones.
yeah, like Super Bowl appearances and Stanley Cup final appearances,
hmm
but
We have those, but they don't track those.
no trophies, no banners, except for the Bandits.
The Bandits have, I don't know if they have more, or they at least have a comparable number to the Sabres. It makes the Sabres look kind of rough in their own stadium. Buffalo Bandits is their lacrosse team.
Yeah, well, after because they won the championship last year, so their attendance has been like through the roof. I've been hearing like they've been doing really well. Yeah, I think they probably have been matching or exceeding the Sabres' attendance for most of the season, if I had to take a guess.
Yeah.
Which is tough. But hey, that's what happens when you put a banner in the building.
Mm-hmm.
Like, people are gonna want to watch championship teams. Obviously, I'm sure there's plenty more Vegas fans than there were before last year. Like, there
Bunch
just
of
has to be.
bandwagoners.
Yeah. Yeah,
Now,
I didn't even
I
know
think
anybody on Vegas until last year.
the thing that did it for Vegas was they made the cup run in their first season.
That also was a contributor.
And everyone was watching that. The non-sports, or like the people from other sports.
Yeah.
And everyone was. I think that's kind of what did it for them.
Yeah, that was certainly.
Just got to make a spectacle out of it.
Put on a show. So one thing that I was sort of curious about, and I sort of did a little bit of research, is what it actually costs if you want to legally watch all the NHL games. I guess specifically just for your one team. And in this use case, I was looking at my situation living in New York, because there's a few different platforms that you have to have if you want to watch every game.
I sense that there's a personal motive behind this estimation.
No, I mean,
are you gonna try to watch every game?
I don't think so, because
in a season?
I'll get into why after I reveal the total amount of money you need to spend to watch a full season's worth of games. But so you definitely need, and this is for someone in the United States, specifically in New York, with the blackouts that we have and the regional sports network that we have. So, so first you need ESPN Plus. That's like one of your go-to places for watching games. That's $10.99 a month or $109.99 a year. So that's you're already starting there, and then.
Well, you're assuming you're doing the whole year, but you only need to do September to June or September to April because.
Yeah, so I counted for the total. I counted how many months of the year you actually needed to use it.
Okay, so you didn't do the whole year. You
Not the full year. You need a Max subscription in order to watch any of the games on TNT. You can also, like, if you have like your regional sports network that has like or like your cable subscription could theoretically have TNT, but for this particular case, the one that I found that was the cheapest option didn't, so you would have to get Max, which is $70 a year with ads, or $111 a year for 1 year, and then after a year it jumps up to $109 149 or $9.99 a month. So so that's already like, not crazy, but 70 bucks a year, and then it jumps up after a year to 100. And this was also like, there could be better deals throughout different points of the year, but this is just what I found when I was looking. And then I think you'd have to do Fubo TV with a NHL Network subscription, because you need NHL TV, NHL Network for like those few games that they have on there. So that would be 70 bucks a month, and that's only for 1 month you get that, and then it jumps to 89 or 90 bucks. So that's like already a rip off, like jumping 20 bucks for only 1 month of use.
Well, I know Fubo at least does the 7-day trial, so still legally you can just have a different email every time, and every time, the rare times of an NHL Network game, you just have a 1 week free trial.
Yeah, that's also true.
So you could do that. I don't know about the other ones. Like,
I want to see Dean's total.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. And then so 8 month, it would be an extra $8 a month for NHL Network with the Fubo TV. So I had it at about $1,030 for the full 9-month season, I guess.
Yeah, that's if you want to buy all of them at the start of the season. And
yeah, right.
Get rid of them.
Because technically, you might not need, like, if you're like, okay, I'm a Vegas fan watching in New York. They don't play on NHL Network until whatever day. Like, I could theoretically.
Or they don't play any New York teams until whatever November. But yeah, you're doing worst case, which I get.
Yeah, worst case.
I have a question for you. Did you consider, because you said to watch every game, how many games are on at the same time, and how many TVs can you stream from the same service before you have to get a second service?
Yeah, so in this particular case, it was not theoretically watch every single NHL game for the whole season, but just watch every game that your one team plays. But yeah, you could, if you did want to have the goal of watching every single NHL game, you'd have to factor in the schedule and how many start times overlap, so you can have them all like on a TV on their own or on their own display, and then you'd have
and what's your TV cost?
Yeah, what's your TV cost? What's
Internet?
Your how many devices you're allowed to use for your streaming service and stuff
You
like
need to get
that.
higher download speeds.
Yeah. There would be a lot
sure.
of there'd be a lot of factors with that. I was thinking about like, okay, technically you also need an internet subscription. I'm like, I don't want to get into the weeds too much with having to have a TV and internet and whatever, because that's just like a given. But yeah, I thought it was kind of interesting to try to do my best to tally it up.
I like to see you use the same system where it's like your worst case scenario and do it with like NFL, NBA, other like MLB, and compare the prices.
Yeah, I could do that. Maybe that'll be an assignment for next week or a future time. I would, because it is it's different situations.
I bet it would be cheaper for like the NFL, because you can get them all in one package.
They have blackouts though, don't they?
They do have blackouts. Yeah.
They have like
if you're a Bills
able to
fan,
watch
when they play
YouTube
the Giants, the Jets, like those will be blacked out.
Yeah, and like
So
I have
CBS,
Paramount Plus.
NBC, Fox, and ESPN games.
And then there's like the Peacock exclusives and
Oh yeah. Now they
Thursday
throw
night.
that in.
Thursday night games on Prime Video.
Amazon, yeah.
They're gonna have 2 Christmas games this year, which is on a Wednesday, so that's weird. I don't know what that's gonna be on, but
Oh, they must be taking Christmas back from the NBA.
yeah,
The NBA stole Christmas a while ago.
they're like, look, we already got Thanksgiving. We are the holiday sport, okay, and that's all there is to it. NHL, you can have New Year's Day if you really want it. Sure, you can have the Winter Classic, but we've got all the big ones.
It was on a Sunday this year, so the NFL took it back, but now they have a taste for that Christmas money.
Yeah.
Because they're like, wait, we're not gonna get
they're
another
going for
Christmas
it.
game for like 7 years or 6 years or whatever. Like, that can't be.
Yeah.
We've got to find a way. So, yeah, I just thought that would be kind of an interesting thought experiment. I was like, you know what? What would it actually take? Obviously, I don't have all of those services, and I don't watch every Vegas game either.
Are you saying you watch illegally?
I did not say that. I did not say that.
That's the NSA tuning in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You could hear them come in.
Did you hear that?
Yeah, my dad tried to get this podcast
Shut it down.
canceled.
Yeah, what the heck? Although it's funny because I was watching another one of the older episodes, and I can't remember. Somebody said the name of one of the alleged streaming services that you can.
Oh, we just kept it?
Yeah, because I didn't think about it at that time. It wasn't the full name of the website, but
It was without the before the dot.
it was without the after. Yeah, it was just the before the dot information. So
Yeah.
I was like,
I bet you could Google that and find it.
yeah, but we don't condone the use of illegal streaming services to
No,
broadcast
pay the
your
league money.
copyrighted
They need the
information.
money.
Yeah, they need it. They only made
need
like
it.
$6 billion this season.
Yeah.
It's the projection. We'll see how that impacts the escrow and stuff for the players. That's stuff that like I just don't get into the weeds with because I don't know that much about it. But
Yeah, me either.
it matters for them. Just doesn't really matter for me. I don't really. All I care about is how much the team I like can spend to roster a competitive team.
Speaking of making the league more money, what are your thoughts on expanding the playoff? There's been a debate on like 32 Thoughts recently. Elliot Friedman's very pro expand the playoff.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Just put everyone in.
I mean, because the argument again is
Everyone.
like the NHL specifically is very much a revenue from tickets league. Like that's where they make the most money.
Yeah.
So expanding the playoffs would add more revenue, increase the cap, all sorts of things like that. But then obviously on the other side of it, it's like to make it 18 or 20. It's like, do you really want? Sorry, Sandroni, but Buffalo making the playoffs? Like,
no,
like these teams,
you
like
don't.
then you have
The
these other
product
teams,
is
like,
worse.
do
disappoint.
they deserve to be in? But then you could have like, I think Friedman's idea was you have, like the 7 and 8 seeds play the 9 and 10 seeds, and it's like a best of 3 series, and then the winner of that immediately plays like the first or second seeds, like the
Like a playoff,
top
play-in
seeds
round.
yeah, so top seeds kind of get the benefit of playing a tired team that just played like these tough games to get in.
Yep.
Similar, I guess,
That's a-
COVID.
That's what baseball does with their wild card.
Mm-hmm.
They kind of do a play-in.
So how many teams
Um,
make the playoffs in the MLB?
Well, the 3 division winners for each league, and then 2 more teams have a play-in. I think it's that. So I think it's just 5 per league. So it's a 10. I
10.
think. Last I checked, they may have upped it to 12 recently.
That could be.
Yeah.
Baseball just started up like last week, I think.
Yeah.
12
Yankees
teams.
are
They
off
have
to a
12.
great start.
The MLB has 12
Yeah.
out of the 30 teams.
12, okay.
Mhm.
12
That's
out
less
of
than the
30.
NHL. The NHL does half already. So
Mhm.
16 out of 32
So
is a
the
lot.
NBA just started in-season tournaments.
Yeah. I think we
I
talked
don't know.
about that.
Yeah, I haven't actually watched. I boycott the NBA now. But apparently that's like helped a lot to bring in more revenue, more viewership.
It was pretty
For that
popular,
league.
I heard. Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll see if the NHL does something like that. But I guess as far as expanding the playoffs, how I feel, I think I'm against it because it's funny. Some people were talking about like, do you really want to see some of these teams that are currently fighting for the Eastern wildcard spots, like Islanders, Penguins, Capitals, like
Yeah.
especially with how like they keep like losing,
Yeah.
like none of them have been gaining a ton of ground. Like one seems like they're gonna start to take it, and then they start losing. The other teams start catching up, and they all start playing each other. So it's like,
What if you did of everyone in the hunt, whoever has the best record in the last 20 games or something like that? Whoever's like on a roll. Since Buffalo would have made it last year.
hmm,
Well, I feel
And
like
they
the people
were
that
they
are
were
on a
surging
roll,
last year, but they
I mean,
never
Ottawa
quite.
does that every
Yeah.
year, where they're out of the playoffs and then they start winning against teams because like teams that have already made the playoffs have like their backup goalie in or whatever
Yeah.
against Ottawa. So it's like,
they had like a
I don't
5 game
know.
win streak just not too long ago because of that.
Yeah.
I feel like if they were gonna expand, I would hope that it would be a play-in round style thing
Yeah,
where
yeah.
a couple extra
Hmm.
fight for a chance, and then it's still like the 16 teams that make the final bracket. Because I
Hmm.
think that would be the best way to do it.
Yeah, and I think that's what again Elliot said. Like the play-in is like a best of three kind of deal, and then you have the normal playoffs.
Yeah, I don't
Hmm.
know. It could be fun. Um, I think at first I would be against it, but if I watched it and started to enjoy it, I would probably turn around. But for now, I think I'd rather keep it the way it is.
Yeah.
We'll see. I don't know if that was really discussed at the GM meetings that happened recently. I don't know. They probably had a lot of topics on their docket, and not everything was necessarily having a resolution right away. I'm sure they tabled stuff to the off season or whatever. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if the NHL did it, just because it sounds like that would make them more money. And what does the league like doing more than anything?
Hmm.
Making money. What do the owners like doing more than anything? Making money.
And
So
again, if the GMs are voting on this, the GMs are like, oh, if I'm not as good of a GM and I can still make the
yeah,
playoffs, cool.
lower bar for
Yeah.
me to not get
Yeah.
fired. Yeah,
Hmm.
that sounds good.
Yeah. And for the league, it's just extra games.
Yeah.
Like you have so many more games that you're adding.
Now you
So
have Buffalo fans paying for playoff tickets. Like, okay.
yeah, and they travel. They'll go anywhere.
Mhm. Yeah.
These
I wonder
Buffalo
how
fans are crazy.
I wonder how that would work with like broadcasting, like if they add this new round, like how the rights for those things get worked out, because they've got the deal with ESPN like right now, so it's like how does that fit in? Are they allowed to patch in stuff like that? I'd imagine they are.
Probably the same as it is now. Like I think it leaves Nesson. It's like Nesson gets the first round, and then
Yeah.
after that it goes to national.
Yeah, they usually do the regional sports networks get the first rounds, and then after that it's all national games.
Hmm.
I was gonna say, I sent this in the group chat earlier. The multiverses game that was just announced between the Avalanche and the Golden Knights is happening on the 14th. So this is going to be similar to what they did with the Big City Greens classics of the last couple of years, but it'll be models of characters in the new, well, in Multiverses, which is officially releasing in May, I think like the 28th
It's
or
been in
something.
beta for like years.
Yeah, so it's been in beta for a couple of years. It's a fighting game with popular Warner Brothers characters like Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, Tom and Jerry,
Don't forget Shaggy.
Shaggy, yes, Shaggy, Finn and Jake from Adventure Time. There's a ton of other characters. LeBron James is
Yeah, he's
is
in there.
playable. Marvin the Martian. So yeah, we'll see how many of those characters are featured. Bugs Bunny, of course, as well. Um, we'll see how many of them get featured as skaters in the game, but it'll be fun. Obviously, it's like just an alternate broadcast that they're doing on. I think it's Max, but you have to have like the Bleacher Report add-on or something too. Maybe there's another way to watch it, but then
I think it's on True TV. Well, it says True TV /
True TV, yeah.
Max. So
Yeah, so I think Max is probably the go-to.
exclusively on True TV and Max's BR Sports add-on.
Yeah. So
Those are all HBO different characters, except for LeBron. He's a real person.
Yeah. He is real. Believe it or not. That's crazy. I remember when that first came out, when they announced that in the beta, because they had the beta open for a while, but it's closed now, as they're getting ready for the full launch. But it was like, this is insanity. Having LeBron James playing with all these characters like Velma and shit.
What is it? Is it?
It's a fighting game.
It's like kind of like Super Smash Bros.
Yeah, it's like it's a platform fighter. So it's focused on 2v2. Like doubles is supposed to be the primary like way to play the game, because they have like a lot of synergies with other characters and ways to like help your ally and stuff like that. So that's the main format.
Can you spam items?
Definitely.
Okay.
That's always a feature.
I'll play. I'll be playing that.
Great. I will definitely pick that one up then. Yes. So definitely not a mashup that I was expecting. A collaboration. This kind of just came out of left field. But I think with the success that they've had with the Big City Greens classics, I'm not too shocked that they're trying this and do a little cross promotion.
The technology in place, so I mean, to just like put different characters in is probably easy enough for them.
Yeah. Yeah, they'll be playing with some of the stages from the game in the background of the shots too, so that'll be cool. Yeah, a little cross promotion there. We'll see.
I learn something new every time I come on.
Well, that's what we aim to do here on the Bread Loves Hockey podcast. We're educators and then entertainers, I guess.
And then sports analysis.
Yeah. Analysis is really pretty low on the bar graph, but it's on there. It's visible too. Yeah. We like to have a little fun here though. Speaking of potentially what could be fun, I just thought of this as like a thought experiment. If like what the NHL could do if they made like content similar to what they do with the players, but with the referees. Like if the referees weren't like locked away in their little boxes in between games, like how they have.
There's a reason that you don't know their names.
Yeah, right.
You're saying like intermission interviews and like stuff like that.
Well, more like YouTube stuff, like like how they'll do trivia questions with players, or like they'll have them do quizzes and things like that. Like, or imagine you have one of the refs there and they've got like a little video showing like a call that was made, and then it's like, oh, what did you think? What do you think about this call? And then they like say, oh, actually this was a call that you made, and like it's like it goes the other way, like they change their answer like in the recording.
I think that's bad for the game.
Oh yeah, no, that they would never do it. I just think it could potentially be really funny, like if some of these referees could actually laugh at some of this stuff, because it's also serious, Like
the only famous refs are the ones that get mobbed up to fix games. You don't want to be on that list.
Wesley kind of famous in the NHL just because he has fun calls and stuff.
And
fun
Tim
calls.
Peel, but he's not famous for good reasons.
Yeah, he's more infamous.
What's a fun call, Dean?
Well, he would do like 5 minutes for fighting. He'll be like very like emphatic with his calls and
Like
stuff
yeah,
like that.
the
But also
refs
apparently
with-
he's really good. Like
with
he's been known
personality.
to be good at like game management. Like talking to the players and be like, all right, like calm down, or like you're gonna get sent off, kind of thing. But
Yeah.
because there's also like the player like the polls they do every year, and it's like who's the best ref? It's always like the players like Wes McCauley. So like some of that, I guess.
I feel like referees are more like our society's executioners, and you just don't associate with them.
They don't exist outside of the game.
They don't exist.
They don't have families.
If you are touched by one, you will die.
Oh my god. That one of the referees recently just had his 1,000th game, and like his whole family was there. There was like ref appreciation night at one of the games too, so there were a bunch of people dressed up as referees. I think it was a Lions.
Or was a jailbreak.
Yeah, or that. Like, wow, we are blending right in. Like, what odds that we happen to come to this game on appreciation night after we just got out of jail? Like, sir, you're gonna have to take those handcuffs off if you want to get through the metal detector. It's like, oh, I don't have the key.
Do you have a key on?
Yeah. You got like a welding torch or something? These are a prop, but I swallowed the key and I got a couple hours before it passes.
A ref also had a hockey stick thrown at him the other night. Did you hear about this?
Yes, I think I heard about that.
Ryan Hartman got suspended 3 games for unsportsmanlike conduct because he threw a hockey stick at a ref.
Was it on purpose?
Throwing the stick.
It was on purpose, but it wasn't. It was like kind of near him.
Yeah.
But like, so you can
Threw
get
in
like
his direction.
you can get like 10 games for like I forget what it's called. Basically, like hostility towards an official.
Mm-hmm.
But this is more like it wasn't. It was like kind of close to him, but not like at him. So that's why it's probably only 3 games. But like you can't just kind of allow it to be close and not give anything. So like they kind of had to like set a precedent.
Yeah,
so.
you can't let that go.
Yeah.
I remember a meme in my tenure as a San Antonio fan. When we were in the finals, there was a meme that showed the Miami Heat starting 5. And it was LeBron James, Dwayne Wade, and the 3 officials.
Yeah. Yeah, they love...
yeah.
That's a classic format for a meme, having like, you know, a picture of a jersey swap with Mahomes and one of the referees or something. Like, oh yeah, thanks for having my back out there today.
Yeah.
There was a throwing the stick penalty called the other day, in one of the games, which you don't hear that one too often. I was curious if there's like a database or a list of something of every penalty like called during the season, because I'd be curious to see like some of the ones that like only get called like once or twice. I don't know if they keep that.
Getting the ref has that.
Yeah, I don't know if it's like public information or. I mean, technically it is. It would just be hard to compile it all into one list, manually, anyways.
The league definitely keeps track of that.
Yeah, but if it's a matter of like, is there a publicly available list?
Yeah.
Because I'm sure there's some ones that it's like, wow, like the New Jersey goalie there, who played the puck ahead of the center red line, the red line. It's like, when's the last time that one got called? Which we actually said on the episode that we talked about it. But yeah, it's just curious, like those kind of things where it's like, this doesn't really come up too often, but it did in this number of games or whatever. Eichel got called for a spearing penalty, which is a major. That doesn't happen too often. And there's no minor. There's a double minor, I guess, for spearing, but no single minor, so they just called it a major against Kaprizov. I don't know if either of you guys saw that one. It was like going around a little bit.
No. And he's not getting any suspension for that?
No, I don't think so. It's been a little.
He
bit
doesn't get
since that
suspended
game.
for spearing, but some guy gets suspended 3 games for throwing a stick on the ice.
Yeah, I mean, like it was definitely
I'm watching
intentional.
it.
Like he shouldn't have been using his stick in that way, and he was like aggravated by Kaprizov for something that like he did earlier in the game. But some Vegas fans were upset with the call. They didn't think it should constitute a spear, but I think
Yeah, it's not that bad. He kind of skated by and like it had his stick in his direction.
yeah, like
Like it wasn't like
you
ill
shouldn't have had your
intent.
stick there.
Yeah.
Which I think is ultimately why they did call it spearing, because it's like it wasn't a high stick, but it also wasn't like very intentional. But I get why, just because that's not a hockey play. You're not supposed to be pointing your blade up in an opponent's face when they're going by you.
Mm-hmm.
Can't do that. So
Spearing. Love all the hockey names, the penalty names. It's just a foul in basketball.
yeah,
Kind of boring.
foul. The NFL has some fun ones too.
Or
Oh yeah, technical foul. Technically.
Or flagrant
Flagrant, yeah.
in college.
And so that that game against the Wild was the game that John Hines again pulls the goalie in overtime, and at 3-on-3. And this time it did not go his way. Marchessault with the empty net overtime winner after Carlson blocked the shot and passed it over to him. First player since 2003 to score an empty net overtime winner, and only the 7th player in league history to have ever done that. So that's a pretty cool thing to put on your resume. Very strange.
I was hearing people say that if they were going to pull the goalie, if Minnesota was, they should have just done it in regulation.
Do it in regulation, yeah.
You're chasing Vegas, so like if you're trying to keep them from getting any point, like because if you pull the goalie in overtime, as we know, like you don't get a loser point. So there's no difference losing in regulation if you're already tied pulling the goalie as opposed to overtime. But if you do it in regulation, then
you can stop Vegas from getting a point.
Exactly.
Yeah. I agree completely with that logic, and yeah, it is weird to do that.
The only argument against that is that like a 4-on-3 power play is more successful than a 5-on-4, or I guess or
6-on-5.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it was strange, and I don't know. He probably won't do it anymore at this point.
You got nothing to lose at this point.
Yeah, but it's like I don't know. Like, yeah, again, the rationale.
Maybe he really hates the thought of loser points.
Yeah, he's trying to get the rule changed.
A message to the league.
What do you think about it, Sandroni? Just pull him in regulation and try to win there, in a potentially tied game.
I'm not sure. Not very good at my strategy.
We'll get back to him on that one. We'll let you think it over, mull it over.
Button mash.
That's not an option in hockey, unfortunately. Maybe in Chell.
Maybe.
So then there's been a handful of items going on. We got a couple of things here for the ECHL. Starting with, so I don't know if you guys saw this, but the Cincinnati Cyclones are the first pro hockey team to have all 5 starting skaters be of color. So that was pretty cool moment. I know that the Ontario Reign had the first 3 like forward, the starting forwards do that. I think it was last season or maybe 2 seasons ago, but not the full starting lineup minus the goalie, all the skaters. So that's pretty cool. It's just like one of those things where it's good to have inclusion like that, and I'm sure a lot of the young black hockey fans and players are like it makes you feel a little bit better knowing that there are people that look like you that can make it and can play professionally. So, fun little moment there.
Now it's waiting for the team to have all 6, and then they win.
Yeah, you've
Can't
done
beat
it.
that.
Can't beat
Well,
unless you got the
then
other
you have
team
a full
involved.
full team.
Yeah, all 12 skaters and goalies are
I guess it'd be 18 skaters, right? Don't forget the defense.
well 5. Isn't it
12.
5 on 5?
Forward. Oh, you're saying the whole, like, both teams. I thought you meant, I was saying an entire team, like
Oh,
all
an entire team.
20 players.
A whole
on one
professional team of
Get the coaches
of
involved
black
too.
players. Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe. I mean,
Trainer.
it would be that would be a stark contrast to what it is right now, but you never know.
Yeah. Nonetheless, this is a good step in the right direction
Yeah.
for sure.
And in the other direction, one of the ECHL teams, which was a affiliate of the Maple Leafs, the Newfoundland Growlers, have officially ceased operations. So the franchise folds, and the players are going to be free agents. I believe the other teams can only sign up to 2 of those players, and then any of the ones that have a contract like signing rights with AHL or NHL clubs have to report to them, I think, and they can't play in any of the ECHL games for the rest of the year, which is kind of strange. So, yeah, I think a lot of Newfoundland fans were pretty disappointed because they don't really get much representation in the professional hockey scene.
Yeah, and I imagine that they have some like big hockey fans there. I
Yeah.
mean, it's anywhere in Canada, but it seems like there's some.
The Maritimes, they
Newfoundland
definitely clamor
seriously.
for it.
Yeah, that's
I
tough.
think that the owner also owns the Montreal ECHL franchise too, so I think they kind of just were like, you know what, this one's not working. I mean, I don't know the full story, but that one's tough. So I think I saw some people like selling some of their jerseys, and we'll see. I mean, they're like more valuable now, I guess, because it's a defunct franchise. Like, you won't be able to officially buy them for too much longer, but I don't really have any interest in that.
Don't want to collect all the ECHL and all the AHL jerseys.
That's just so many.
Yeah.
And they're just definitely harder to find, at least on on secondary markets.
Yeah, I feel like most the real ones are probably all, like, a lot of them are game worn.
Gamers, yeah. Yeah, they don't sell. Like, I feel like these lower leagues don't sell nearly as much merchandise. They can't afford to produce as much, and there's not as much demand. So, yeah, I feel like a lot of the ones that you find on resale markets are like game worn or game issued or team issued or whatever. And I don't even know what size I wear for those ones. So,
Yeah.
But for my local team, I guess Sandroni's, well, not really Sandroni's team. You'd be more like Utica or Syracuse, I guess.
It's either Syracuse or Rochester. Would be
Oh
my
yeah, you'd
local
probably be
team,
Rochester,
where I'm from.
the Americans. But for me, the Adirondack Thunder have officially qualified for the playoffs for the ECHL. So I will probably try to get to at least one of the playoff games in the first round. Sounds like a great time. I'm sure some of my coworkers will want to go too. So I will report back on how that goes, but I don't think these guys make it into the playoffs that often, so it'll be pretty fun to see how they do on their run. I think they wrap up around the same time as the NHL does, so
I just looked it up. The Kelly Cup finals,
mhm.
May 31st through June 12th.
Oh, okay. That's just when the finals are taken.
I know the first round starts April 17th, so it's basically the same as the NHL, like you said.
Yeah, I was trying to see if playoff tickets for the Thunder had already gone on sale, but I didn't see any on their website specifically for playoffs, so I'll have to look. Want to make sure I get them before they're gone.
Mm-hmm.
Have you been to any playoff games, Sandroni?
Playoff? No.
For any league at
No.
all?
I haven't. No.
I haven't either.
I barely go to the regular season ones.
Well, I guess we went to ECAC tournament playoff games for Clarkson.
I don't. Oh, we went to the ones that were at Clarkson.
Yeah.
I went to those. I never went to. They do them in Lake Placid for the ECAC. I never went to that.
Yeah, I never went to those either.
But it was right there. We probably should have gone, especially the years Clarkson were this.
Yeah.
Clarkson was pretty good when we were there. We had it good.
We did have it pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh well. We can always go now. Just because we're not there anymore doesn't mean we can't go. I mean,
I've
tougher for
been
Dean,
to-
obviously.
Yeah.
I've been to March Madness games.
Mm-hmm.
Because they host them here in Buffalo usually. I don't think they did them here this year, but like they'll host like a regional one or like the first round ones at Key Bank where
Yep.
the Sabres play. And I remember seeing Wisconsin there. It was years ago, but yeah.
Didn't you and Dean go to a or maybe it was a Syracuse game that you guys went to?
It was
a
just
March
a regular.
Madness. It was
a
the
regular
only college
season.
basketball game I've ever been to, and Syracuse beat Duke with a buzzer beater.
Oh, they
stormed
stormed
before.
the court.
I'm like, I don't need to go to another college basketball game ever again.
Check. I'm good.
Yeah.
That was the best game I've ever been to, too.
Yep. That was awesome.
It topped a game that I went to just weeks before that game.
Mm.
So,
Which
it
one
was
was
also a buzzer beater against Virginia.
that? Oh.
It was also a very good game, but the Duke game, that was nuts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's got to be such a great feeling as like rooting for the home team
And-
and they hit a buzzer beater. Like
So loud in there.
I
And
bet.
the thing
The
about
dome.
going to a Syracuse basketball game is that it's in the dome there. It's where they play football.
Yep.
So you can fit like I think the record's got to be like 39,000 people. In for a basketball game is insane.
Yeah.
So they always have like the top attendance in the country for that type of game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, my dad's a Syracuse alum, and that was one of the schools I had thought about going to before Clarkson, but I ultimately went with Clarkson, of course. So I've got definitely some orange in my blood.
My sister went to Syracuse.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. There you go.
I think I knew that. But yeah, it's pretty cool. Must have been really, really fun.
Yeah, I grew up having season tickets, so that was really nice. That's what there's no pro teams that are that close to me, but Syracuse is within an hour, and they were really good growing up.
Mm-hmm.
So,
But the Syracuse Crunch.
Yeah.
with the Syracuse Crunch, I've never been to. Well, I went to the one in Utica. Was it the Crunch that played there?
Yeah, they were playing them.
Yeah, they were playing them in Utica against the Comets.
We got to see the Comets win in overtime. That was a fun one.
It was fun.
One of the few wins I've gotten to see, especially in overtime.
That was a neat stadium. It was like a horseshoe.
Yeah, it was not. It looked like it was designed for indoor soccer rather than.
Yeah,
hockey.
I think they played a lot of soccer there.
It was a very strange, and the walls were not they were sloped in a way where
Yeah.
it wasn't like a perfect circle. It was kind of like an oval, and it was very interesting.
It was definitely a Utica thing.
Yeah. That's what they say, huh? Utica is just a strange place in general. They've got those tomato pies or whatever too, and
Oh, they're so good.
oh yeah, yeah. I've never had one,
And,
so I
and
guess
they
I
have
can't.
Utica greens, and they have chicken riggies.
Oh, I've heard of those.
That Utica Club beer.
Now what's that?
It's just a cheap beer that's made in Utica.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, at least you gotta be proud of where you're from. So if
A lot of Italians in Utica or Rome. A lot of Italian food.
well, Rome, of course.
Yeah, of course. Rome is the bocce capital of America. That's where they have the bocce national championship every year. I've been playing bocce. I've been into that the past year or so
Bocce's fun.
in like tournaments and stuff.
Yeah, Sandroni sent me a
Yeah.
link to his tournament result, or like they had like a live stream for his team. It was pretty entertaining.
I was on YouTube. We were in a tournament in my hometown. I was like a nobody. They didn't even know my last name. So they introduced me as Ryan, the bocce player.
And you guys got second place, didn't you?
And then we got second place in the thing. We were beating teams that like were really good at bocce. And then we lost the team we lost to. The guys' names were Felice and Mario. and Felice, he's like the Michael Jordan of bocce.
Oh my gosh. What an honor.
So we were playing against them live on YouTube.
Wow.
Yeah.
Tune in next season.
No, but that's big. Like there are tournaments all over. People go to Cleveland. There's a lot of clubs in Cleveland and Buffalo.
Following those
Yeah.
like smaller sports leagues can be like really fun when you get into it, because like there's a lot more passion there to some degree. Like, yeah, we all like this kind of niche sport or competition.
And they're all at a festival of some sort that offers fried dough and like hot dogs and sausages.
Yeah.
So,
That's like the cornhole
Yeah.
championship is at the Rose Bowl every year, so you get to go to the
Johnsonville
Football.
sponsors that.
yeah. Yeah, they always get
They're
some,
their number one sponsor.
they always get
Johnsonville.
fun sponsorship deals,
Yeah.
fun brand deals.
I told my mother that I was gonna go get like Prego sauce and get a shirt or something for my bocce tournament.
Yeah. Anybody who will pay you, I guess. Well, I think we'll wrap it up there. But remember to subscribe to us on YouTube, follow our socials, and we'll see you next time on the Bread
Call
Loves
the
Hockey
phone
Podcast.
lines.
Check the phone line. Yes, please. Please call into the phone line. I was wondering the other day if you still regularly check before we record if we got anything.
I do. I check our emails too. We have yet to get an email.
Wow. No
Oh.
emails.
I'll
Email
email
us.
you.
Don't call us.
Do something. Get in touch with
Yeah.
us.
Hey, we record a voice memo and do a voice to text and then send it as an email so we can have an email.
There you go. Thanks, everybody. We'll catch you on the next one.
Bye.
Bye.
I don't like hearing Brendan's voice twice because I'm watching this video.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of Brendan.
We'll let past Bread do all the talking.